The Falkland Islands are one of the few places in the world where sei whales can be regularly seen from the shore. A large conservation effort has helped to increase the population of the animals after many years of heavy exploitation during the whaling era. But this work wouldn't be possible without funding received from the UK government. The Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs provides funds for environmental projects in British overseas territories under a scheme called Darwin Plus.
Yeah, so Darwin Plus have funded the whale work here in the Falklands since 2018. We've actually had 2 separate batches of funding from them, and the money obviously is critical to being able to do work, and particularly in our case marine work, which is by its nature very costly, involving boat charters and lots of kind of technical equipment. So having the grants from Darwin Plus has facilitated all of that work from the beginning. Our current project began last year, and it's focused very much on collecting the kind of data that we need to inform marine management and protected areas around the Falklands with a view to endangered whale species. And so one of the main goals of this current project is satellite tracking of the whales, and up until now we've been doing boat-based work in fairly small localised study sites, so Berkeley Sound being one of the key ones here in the Falklands. And we've learned a lot about how the whales use those small sites. But the remaining questions are, what do they do everywhere else in the Falklands? And hopefully we'll also learn a bit about the migrations of the whales, so where they might go to when they're not in the Falklands, when they move away. So in the case of the sei whales, we know that the Falklands is a summer feeding area, summer and autumn feeding area, and then after they leave, May, June, we don't really know much about where they go to after that. So we kind of hope that some of these tags will transmit for long enough to tell us a little bit about those movements to other geographic regions, which is important for looking at region-wide conservation and management across the wider Atlantic.
Under the Darwin Plus scheme, a further £6.4 million of funding was announced on Monday. In recent years, the funding has become more important for charities after Brexit signalled an end to similar-style conservation grants from the European Union.
Well, Darwin Plus is obviously the main funding pot for environment that the UK government administers. It's been increased over kind of the last few years, particularly since the UK left the European Union, and certainly our NGOs and other NGOs around the UK overseas territories lost access to EU Life and Best funding, which were other environmental funds that were administered through the EU. It's great to see more money going in. Obviously, we'll continue to push that. We want to make sure that the allocation and also the kind of the purpose and the quota, so the number of times that the different NGOs can apply under this one pot, for example, is sensible and supports good conservation outcomes.
Although sei whales retain a globally endangered status, there is hope that with continued conservation initiatives in the islands, that status can one day be reversed.